Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Dolores Schlosser, who's the Marion County School Superintendent, for our Ask the Superintendent segment for the month of December. As we're doing this, we're getting close to the holidays.
Absolutely.
Right?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, exactly. We're recording this on December the 12th, and the last day for school is going to be on Friday the 16th, correct?
Yes, sir.
So they get a little extended holiday this year.
We do. We have a 2-week. That's one of the thing that our communities told us is they like for our kids to have a 2-week Christmas break. So we're very fortunate to be able to do that.
And then you actually get an extra day because then you're not coming back until Tuesday, January 3rd, because the 2nd would be the federal holiday because the 1st is on a Sunday, right?
That is correct.
So that'll be good. So as we're getting towards the end of the year, how has the school year been so far?
It's been a great school year. A lot of hard work has gone on with our staff and our students. We've had some great programs for our families to come into our schools. Our Born Learning Academy over at Glasscock Elementary has been a huge hit to get young families in that don't even have children in our schools. Lots of festivals in our schools, a lot of ball games. At the high school just had a huge art show with their kids, so I'm really proud of all the ways that our schools are trying to find to reach out to parents to get them in our schools to do fun activities. Not that we don't invite parents in for all kinds of other things, but it's just really nice when our schools can serve as more of a community center rather than just a school. So I think it's been a great semester. You know, our test scores came in great. We're a progressing distinguished school districts, and I'm so proud of the fact that all 4 of our elementaries are proficient or higher. That's never happened, so proud of that. I mean, we're sending our kids to middle school ready to graduate from high school.
Fantastic.
So
that's great.
Excited.
Yes. Now, as we said, it's December 12th, so as we get into the winter, when we come back, there's a possibility of some bad weather. We haven't had any weather days so far, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And I don't think last year we did by this time.
I can't remember. I remember one year we actually had to call off school a day in November, but
yeah, I don't think it was last year. That might have been 2 years ago or something. Yeah, so hopefully we'll hold out until the end of this school year, or this semester anyway, this calendar year, I guess. But if school were to be called out, there are a couple different options that you want to make people aware of what those options could be.
Right, and thank you for asking, because I know as working parents, you know, the question is, I have to make arrangements for my kids, and I completely understand that, but the obvious is we would just call off school. There would be no school, that's it. We can do a delay, and that could be a 1-hour or a 2-hour delay. And so for example, if your child is picked up at 6:30, then they would be picked up at 7:30. The pickup time should be an hour or a 2-hour delay. We also implemented the Plan B bus routes. So in other words, in that case, there would be a designated area that parents and families would bring their children to this area to pick up their children to get them to school. And then another option that we have is our non-traditional instructional school day. You should have received an envelope that has the instructions in there about how to deal with that. Obviously at the high school, the nice thing is our kids have Chromebooks, so the lessons will actually be put into their Google Classroom or the platform that the teacher's using to address their instruction. So, you know, we had some pretty cold days last week. Thankfully, I think we're going to be able to end the school year or this semester without any snow. And I've already been asked, well, when's graduation? And I said, well, you're probably going to have to give me a little bit of time, because, you know, we're going to have to make it through January and February. But I do feel like, Gary, that we have some really good options in the event that we have bad weather. And I don't, again, never want to take away from the fact the importance of the interaction between the children and the teacher in the classroom, or the children and even the cafeteria staff, and getting that hot meal every day. So we hope to have as many good, productive school days as possible.
So the only day that needs to be made up then is if it's completely called off, right? If it's an hour or 2 hour delay, they can still count,
Yes.
correct?
That is correct.
Instructional days
Yes.
can still count as well.
You are correct.
Okay. So their information more on the bus schedule, if somebody's
Yes.
not aware of that, is on the website,
That's
is that
going to
correct?
be on the website, and you can always call our bus garage, and we'll be glad to help. Our bus drivers are really good about knowing where those are, and I think most parents are very familiar with their bus drivers. So, and again, if you can't find it on our website or you don't get a phone call, you can always call the central office. We'll help with that as well. Call the local school principal. We'll get you the answers.
Well, they'll get you there one way or the other.
Right, and we'll get you to school.
Exactly,
That's
that's
the
right.
most important thing.
Exactly. Now, also, something that you're doing actually today as we're recording is something with the seniors that is something that's new?
Yes, it is. It's a senior survey, and I think most folks know about our 6 big dreams, and one of our 6 big dreams is that all of our kids will graduate college and career ready. Marion County is in a wonderful position in that we have 35 plus business and industry, but like all business and industry around the country, it is staff and where are they going to come from. So we felt like in order to really be good stewards to our seniors, we wanted to ask them, what are your career interests? And we want to look at their career interest. We want to look at where they're going to go to school. Are they going to go to the military? Is it a 1-year institute or a 2-year institute, a 4-year institute? Are they going to work and go to school together? Are they going straight into the workforce? We want to know what our kids are doing so that we can report to business and industry. We have 200 seniors, and there are a specific amount that's going to college. They'll be back in workforce in 4 years. How many will be back in the workforce in 2 years? How many seniors are going straight into the workforce? How many seniors are going to the military? And then we ask the question, have you applied to school? Do you need help applying for school? Have you filled out your financial aid forms? If you haven't, do you need us to fill those out? Have you been accepted to these colleges? I was just talking to one young man, and he's actually going to Jacksonville, Florida, and he's already been accepted to a school that does nothing but teach welding. And so think about that. I mean, the kids I spoke to this morning, I was so impressed. They had a plan. They'd applied for college. They'd filled out their financial aid forms. They had a plan. And then we went on in our survey, Gary, to just ask some life-ready questions, because we've got to think beyond just are they college ready and career ready, are they ready for life? So we ask questions like, do you have a checking account? You know, do you understand what it means to have a credit card and make the payments? Can you fill out loans? Do you know CPR? Do you know how to change the oil and fix a flat tire? Because when our kids leave and they're no longer at home with us or their families, we want to make sure they leave with all the skills they need to be successful in that career or that college. So we'll have the results, and maybe when you come back in January, I can share those with you.
Absolutely.
And so we're really excited to be able to share that with business and industry. And I'm not sure what those numbers are going to look like, and I'm sure there's not going to be enough of the needs, but I think if business and industry understand that we have so many students that'll be back here in 2 years, or that will be back here in 4 years, or even the student who said, I'm going to Jacksonville, Florida to learn to weld,
They're welding jobs here. I wonder if
Yes.
he's coming back again.
Absolutely. And so we can maybe keep in touch with them the same way that colleges keep in touch with kids when they're trying to recruit them to go to college. Maybe our community could do the same thing with recruiting our kids. Come back home and work for us, and you can weld here, or come back here and you can be a preschool teacher here.
That's right.
It's a good idea. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
We may need to just start recruiting our kids to come home and stay home and work for us. So.
Exactly. There are jobs available.
Absolutely.
Many jobs available. That's
Yes.
the issues they're having. So yes, we'll look forward to hearing those results possibly in January when we get back together again. Now, also at our last interview, we talked about the success of the nickel tax
Yes.
ordinance initiative that went through. And since then, some people may have seen the results of that, correct?
Yes. We have worked with our county clerk, And what we have, most folks probably have gotten an additional tax bill, and that is actually from where the base of the tax was to the nickel tax. So you should have seen a separate tax bill come in the mail. So we'll start getting that revenue in and hopefully start making some plans for some renovations or new schools.
And there's still no word on whether it's going to be matched or anything. That won't be until the legislative session,
right? And that actually won't be until that'll be in the next session, so that will be in 2018.
Right.
So we've got a little bit of time to wait. So we'll make sure we collect those revenues. We'll put those in the bank and keep saving that money until we can get that match, because obviously there will be a difference in what we can do with the match versus without the match. So.
Correct. And you did have a facility study and all that kind of stuff. So
yes.
Is there any, but that's still on the table as to what's the first level of action?
You are correct. That's required every 4 years. So we do have a plan in place. We are working with the Department of Education in Frankfort to talk about reconvening that committee again. Sometimes there's folks that go on and off. In other words, they may have been representing Calvary Elementary but have moved to the middle school, and there has to be so many folks from so many different schools, so many parents, community members, etc. There's a rhyme and a reason to it. It can get kind of complicated, but you want to make sure that there's equal representation of everybody. And again, it's not just parents and teachers and administrators, but it's community members as well. And so we've got to get those folks together and start talking about what is it that would be in that priority number one.
Okay.
So.
Now also, since the last time we talked there was an election right around that time as well, and there's been more talk about what the House in Kentucky, now that it is both branches, the House and Senate is both Republican controlled, charter schools have been a big discussion with that party. What kind of impact would that, if any, on Marion County if charter schools were to be approved?
Well, I think if I were to tell you what that impact would be, it would be strictly speculation. I will not be able to tell you what kind of impact that has until I see what the legislation actually reads. But I will say, Gary, from the meetings that I've been attending, charter schools will be a part of what education looks like in Kentucky in the future. I just don't know how that will impact Marion County. I'm not sure who will be, they have not decided who will authorize a charter school. They've talked about that should come from one body, which, I guess it could be the Kentucky Board of Education, it could be the local Board of Education. And then, of course, funding would be an issue for both us and the charter school. But until I can see what that is, I don't want to sound threatening, that, it could take funds away from our kids. It could be something that could actually be a really good thing for our community if it was done the right way. But again, I just don't want to speculate right now, because until we see what that's going to look like and how they're going to fund charter schools, I don't think we're going to know the impact. But I believe that charter schools will be a part of what we do in Kentucky. So
it's something maybe in the next few months we'll have more of an idea of what the proposal is.
Right, and as soon as that's passed, let's make a point to talk about that, and because I do think folks will be hearing a lot about that on the news, and I'll try to have as much information as I can. I'll keep folks up to date, because what people are going to say is, will we have a charter school in Marion County? And then the other question is, well, if we don't, then I guess that has no impact on us, and I can't imagine that it's not going to have some kind of impact on Marion County.
Because if it were to even be a regional charter school in Washington County or Nelson County or wherever, Taylor County, it may continue to draw. And there is a difference between charter schools and voucher system as well.
Absolutely.
That they're talking about, which the vouchers could have a direct impact right away.
Yes.
Right. Because that could be something with the schools that are currently here, like St. Augustine or what have you.
Yes.
So
you're exactly right.
Yeah, but that's not as much discussed right now.
Not right now. that may be something that's, I think, being discussed more at the national level. So
we'll wait and see.
Yes, I would say that, Gary, in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see a big change in the way things are done in education. The accountability system's going to change. We already know that. The federal government has said that we have to look differently at how we're doing our accountability system, so that's going to change. And for those of you that have children in school, it's the test that the kids take in the spring. So that's going to look different. You've got charter schools, that legislation, vouchers are being talked about. And if you watch television, especially if you watch the channels that have some children's shows, there's a lot of advertisement for even online schools. And so I do think we're going to see some changes. But I can assure you that Marion County is going to do everything they can do to make sure that we are a outstanding school district where people want to go regardless of what the option is. We want to be that school system where their children's dreams come true, and that we are focused on 6 big dreams, and that it's not necessarily about the test, but it's about the experiences that they get and the one-on-one conversations that our children have and the opportunities. So I can assure you that our leadership team and our board are going to be looking at what that legislation looks like, and we're going to make sure that Marion County is always a place where people want to go to school.
Great. Well, again, I've been talking with Marion County School Superintendent Laura Schlosser, and we will be going back with you in January about some of the different issues that are going on. And again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. This has been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.
Thank you.